Okay.
But what we don't like is when there's ferrous material. So there's little pieces.
And that's actual metal.
That's ferrous material.
Okay.
So that's not the thing that you want to see in a filter.
Okay.
And it's little bitty stuff.
Yeah.
But I looked at it under a microscope.
Okay.
And what it looks to me like is lifter material.
Okay.
The lifters start to, over time, they start to what they call spall. Little pieces start to come off. And as that happens, they just get rougher and rougher. And then
that's hard on the cam.
Eventually, they'll chew up the camshaft. Lifters are easy to change. Camshaft is a whole different.
Okay.
Engine's got to come off, come apart.
Wow.
All that stuff.
Okay.
So catching it before it damages the camshaft is the thing to do. And actually, looking back in the log books, in 2000 and I didn't write that down. I think it was 2010 when the airplane had about 400 hours on it.
Yeah.
All the lifters were replaced.
Okay. So it's been a
now
while.
It's been 16 years since then.
And what often, on the 550s, what time frame do you usually do you see lifters needing to be?
It's really, I wish I could tell you. It's really random.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had engines come in that have 400 hours on them, 400 hours on them.
And they need lifters?
And they need lifters.
Wow.
And they say it's corrosion, and it usually starts with the lifter. Just the surface of the lifter is super hard because it's rubbing on the camshaft. So it doesn't deal well with little any kind of contamination or anything that gets in between the lobe and the camshaft.
Okay.
So what we usually do, there's no great way to look at the lifters other than to take them out.
Yeah.
What we can usually do is just take them out on one side of the engine, and then we can run a borescope over and look at the other side.
Okay.
Because that's the other thing. It's so random. You can have 10 lifters look perfect, and 2 be destroyed.
Really?
It's just,
yeah.
And you never know. It isn't always number 5 or whatever. Usually it's a common lobe. There's wide lobes and skinny lobes depending on how many lifters are running on that lobe.
Yeah.
So usually it's a common lobe that causes the problem.
Yeah.
But not always.
And is it, would you say lifters is there a higher chance of it being lifters than the cam?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it almost always starts with the lifter and then
the cam.
And then the cam.
So catching it early is
if you
paramount.
can catch it early.
Okay.
I don't have no idea how this is the first time we've seen this. So I have no idea how long this has been going on.
Yeah, and Daryl wanted to be here. He's medically, so I'm just filming some of this stuff so I can relay it to him.
Sure. Absolutely. But that's a bummer. But if we catch it soon enough, it's not horrible.
Yeah.
So
that's good to know that. Okay. And then like number 3 cylinder. You said the EGT on number 5, the probe was acting erroneous.
I think when I ran it up, I could see that the indication was just unsteady and it was going high and coming back down and going high and just kind of all over the place. That's typically either a connection or the probe.
The probe.
Those probes, they live in a nasty place and the ends get burned off of them.
That makes sense.
And then they start doing exactly what that one is doing.
And number 3 cylinder, being at 59, what are the minimums by the...
So Continental has they have an interesting, they don't actually publish an absolute minimum.
Okay.
They have what they call a master orifice tool.
Master orifice tool, okay.
And what it is it's just an orifice that we put on our compression tester.
Okay.
And then we run it up to 80 and whatever our reading is that day, because it changes with atmospheric pressure and whatnot.
That makes sense.
Usually it's somewhere in the 46 to 48
is the
minimum.
Okay.
As far as so in other words, if we had a 40,
that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Okay, so that's not as...
But a 59 is still, the other thing is where it's leaking. Because you have a dynamic seal and a static seal.
Okay.
The static seal being the valves and the cylinder head.
Perfect.
You don't really want any leakage past there.
That makes sense.
And we don't have any. All of our stuff is past the rings.
Good.
So if I put the borescope in there and look, my guess is in the top of the bores, there's going to be a fair amount of wear.
Yeah.
And we can sure do that. We can look in there and take a peek and see.
Probably not a bad
what's-
idea. Yeah.
What's going on? So with the cylinders, the same time the lifters were replaced, the cylinders were removed, and they said they replaced the piston pins.
Okay.
They didn't say they did any cylinder work. They didn't say they replaced the rings. They didn't. All they said was replace the pins. That's a little odd. I don't know why they did that, but
Do you think they're trying to maybe skimp under that, or
it's really hard. The compression readings on the entry before and the entry after were fine.
Yeah.
I didn't see. Maybe they had some piston pins that were rubbing or something to the point where they were worried about it.
Okay.
Or I don't remember a service bulletin, or there was no AD or anything on piston pins. So I just, other than what the entry says, I don't have any more clues on that.
Do you see some of these 550s make it to TBO?
Yeah, but the ones that do, the guy flies quite a bit, and he's getting to TBO in say less than 10 years.
So it's the making him sit is what's hard on him, isn't it?
It definitely is a factor.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. The ELT, I know you said it was transmitting Canadian frequency.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that one?
So there's the ELT. Actually, I have it on my desk. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'll grab
I'm gonna
it
look at the
so
plane
you can
anyways.
show it.
How's it going?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, man. Doing good.
So this is your ELT.
Okay.
And this was, so the original ELT that was in this airplane, they replaced it because it was just a 121.5 ELT. This is actually a 406 ELT. So it transmits basically a packet of information. And I don't know if you guys have done this since you bought the airplane, but you're supposed to register this with NOAA.
With NOAA, I've heard that. Yeah. And I have not registered it with NOAA.
So I'll get you the form for that. It
Perfect.
doesn't cost anything. It's just filling out the form and emailing it to them.
Cool.
Then you have to update the registration every 2 years. And basically what it is they tie this hex ID number
Okay.
to you so that if this goes off, they know who to look for.
That makes sense.
They're gonna call you on the phone first and see if you're sitting at your kitchen table
Yes.
or not.
That makes perfect sense. I like that.
So, but the information so the ELT is what transmits the information, but the programming is in a part they call the dongle, which is this piece.
Okay. Got it.
And this is what holds the information for the ELT. It's where the hex ID number lives, and it's also where what they call the country code is. So since this was installed when the airplane was in Canada, it's got Canada's country code in it. We need the U.S. country code in it. So we need to take this out and send it. There's a dealer or a distributor actually in Kansas, Mid-Continent,
Okay.
that is a distributor for these, and they can program it.
Oh, they can.
Yeah.
Okay.
So unfortunately, when they installed this wire runs, there's no connection in it other than here and at the remote that's in the instrument panel.
Really?
So we have to, I'm going to have my avionics guy look at this
Yeah.
and see if we can put a connector in line here.
Like they have an adapter,
Because
possibly.
normally I'm used to seeing that. Usually about yay far away, there's another connector
Okay.
so that you can actually take it out and do something with it.
Okay.
It's not normal to see it run all the way, because to take that out, you have to take side panel out. And all
Oh.
that it's not hard. It's just
Yeah. It's a
time
pain.
consuming,
Yeah. Okay.
but that needs to happen.
Okay.
So
That's-
this doesn't have to go with that.
But that
so
does.
you can replace this. This is where all the programming lives. So whatever box you plug into that is what is going to end up getting transmitted.
Okay.
So
And that, as far as the urgency behind this comparison to, like, obviously for us, like the motor, oh, that's paramount. You know, we're concerned about the oil. So, but maybe if they do have an adapter for this, if not, maybe I'll do some research instead of pulling all that wiring out. But
yeah, I'm thinking we can add a plug, because that's normally what's done.
okay,
What I don't know is, well, we'll research that. I'll let you know.
that'd be
We're
wonderful.
kind of in the middle of things. So
Okay,
we'll
yeah,
figure it
absolutely. Okay. And then the braking system. You said the line was tight on the.
Yeah, so we can, let's go around
Yeah.
the other side. So the reservoir really didn't have any oil in it. And it has been leaking. Actually, this fitting is what's been leaking. It's been leaking all down here.
Really?
And out. So when you look under the airplane, that line runs all the way to the front. It's this line right here.
Oh yes,
But it's like a guitar string.
it's way too tight, isn't it?
What happens is, over time, this stuff shrinks a little. I don't think it was always this tight.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's kind of shrinking, and so it's pulling on the fitting.
Because it's
Because
yes, that makes
It's like
perfect.
So I think we can probably just add a section of line to it. You'll end up with a union in it,
That's totally
but
fine.
that's okay.
Yeah, yeah,
And then,
that makes sense. So it was actually, to the brake reservoir for your fluid is all the way back here.
yes.
Okay. And with that being, do you think that has any adverse effects on, like, I mean, I guess, was that dripping down on the electronics?
It isn't hurting anything.
okay.
We'll just clean it out.
That's, I always wondered that, because is it caustic like traditional automotive brake fluid?
This stuff, it just gets real sticky and gummy.
Okay.
It doesn't really, rubber parts, it will attack that like crazy.
Okay.
Unless the rubber's made for it. Like if you have a wheel cylinder that's leaking,
Yeah.
and it gets on your tire, it'll blow the tire up like crazy.
Really?
It's amazing. Some of the rubber, it really attacks.
And how did in your opinion, the pucks look as far as the?
The shock disc.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that.
Okay. Sweet. I appreciate that.
So there's a couple of criteria that we look at to try to evaluate those. One is when it's sitting on when the weight of the airplane is on the landing gear, there's a spindle that goes through the middle of
Okay.
this. It's this part here that runs through the middle.
Yeah.
And then there's a collar on top.
Okay.
So we measure the distance between the bottom of the collar and the top of the plate.
Okay.
It passes that fine. The limit it's like 850 thousandths.
Okay.
So it's pretty good. And these are compressing almost about 550.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea.
Okay.
And then the other is when we push on this,
Yeah.
we don't want any kind of a gap here.
Okay.
On the other side we have a gap.
Okay.
horrible. I've seen a lot worse. I can move this one quite a bit more than I can move that one.
Okay.
Usually what they say is when you lift it up on jacks within 20 minutes, these are supposed to completely expand, and I shouldn't be able to push on this at all.
So that's why it would have the gap, as if they weren't expanding.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is they're getting too hard, basically, in that case. And the critical part of that is there's not very much, when the landing gear retracts,
Yeah.
there's not very much room on the front and the back of the wheel well.
Yeah.
I mean, the tire needs to be exactly where it needs to be. So if these aren't expanding out as soon as the airplane leaves the ground, the risk is with air pressure against this that the wheel goes back and it's not where it's supposed to be.
And get stuck.
And it'll start getting rubbed. It'll start rubbing in the back of the wheel well.
Okay.
So these aren't, if you wanted to wait till next year on these,
Yeah.
I think that would be, but I don't think they'll go much longer than that.
So
And
that's
they-
good to know.
Yeah, and they were replaced. So the airplane's 2004, 5. They were replaced. The dates on these are 2011, or that's what I see on them.
So 15 years.
So yeah, so they went 7 years the first time before they got replaced.
Yeah.
And now it's been another 15 years.
15 years. That makes sense. And that front, had
The front ones are original. They got 204 dates on them.
Really?
Yeah, which is common because those really get squeezed.
Okay.
They don't really flex all that much. But I would recommend when you replace those to go ahead and
Do the fronts.
just because these are
Yeah.
so.
And would you do all of them at the same time?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Usually, normally we could just replace the mains and
Yeah.
we'd leave the nose alone.
Yeah.
But now we're 22 years.
Yeah. That's
So
hilarious.
they're getting. Usually, what'll happen in these when they get hard is what causes us to replace them is they'll split. I don't see any splits on yours.
And like I guess I know this is the ductwork and like propeller inspection. How'd everything look?
Pretty okay. I mean,
Okay.
it's not new, but it's
Yeah.
definitely airworthy.
Where were they? Okay.
Fine.
And so essentially you have the artist's job of taking all these off. And
So all the valve covers come off.
okay.
And then the rocker arms come off.
Okay.
The push rods come out. And then we have to get in and take these push rod tubes out
Okay.
where these springs are.
Yes.
And then the lifters are in here.
Okay.
So all that needs to come off. And we can get to the lifters.
Okay. That makes sense.
I mean, it's not cool having metal or ferrous material in there.
Yes, but I mean, especially with that low of hours on that change.
Yeah, so they've got, so we're 1100 and something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's twice as much time on these as there was on the original set, but twice as much calendar time. also.
Yeah. And that's good because you're saying catching that early because, well, people theoretically kind of ignore that, keep flying, and then something.
Well, it's like you say, you have to really be paying attention to even find it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy if you're not running a magnet through it, for example, and you're just standing there at the table looking at it, you would never know that stuff was in there.
Because like we had an oil analysis done at Vector Air in Erie, and they said, "Oh, it looks great."
Yeah, that's what's cool. What's cruel about that is that stuff won't show up in an oil sample.
It won't.
It is so hard. It just comes off in little flakes or chunks. Gets caught in the filter, but it doesn't ever break down far enough parts per million to show up
In an analysis.
in an analysis. And even if it did, it's not going to raise it enough to make it a concern.
That
Because
makes
there's
sense.
other places. Usually, what causes a high iron in a Continental engine is cylinder walls. I mean, the first thing you think of is that you have cylinder walls. Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And that's because that's almost always that's always going on.
With the mags having 90 hours left, what would you say next year? Would you catch that early on, like 10 hours before? What's your protocol on that?
Yeah, they run pretty reliably for 500 hours. Again, the other thing they tell you is 500 hours or 4 calendar years
Okay.
is what they say.
Okay.
So it was 2004 2010,
Okay.
I think, when those were done.
Yeah. It's been a while.
So, yeah, 14 years.
She needs to get flown more.
That's good.
I was doing runs back and forth to Florida, and you know, the guy before me, he hardly flew it.
Right.
And he hardly flew it. And that's not good on him. And anything else that was, you know, as far as of concern, or how's it going?
Good, how you
Good,
doing?
good. I'm Nathan. Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Nathan.
Yeah. I'm just filming for my dad. He's not feeling well, and
Oh my gosh. Well, it's shit going around.
yeah. And
You know, older people, it hits them harder.
hit this one.
I
Hit.
know that for a fact.
This is his baby, so I wanted to.
So, kind of going through the records, and I'm still finding stuff in there, but there's, you know, it had the horsepower increase done back in 2018, I think it was.
Yeah, for that STC for the 310.
Yep.
Okay.
So I didn't find a 337 form in there for that,
Okay.
which is interesting because they put the transponder, the 345 transponder, in at the same time.
Okay.
There's a 337 for that, but not for the horsepower increase. And there was no, in the flight manual, there should be a supplement
Yeah.
for that, which, you know, changes the from 2500 to 2700.
Because the original protocol,
that.
the flight values are for 2500.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's a flight
Yeah.
manual supplement that belongs in there that's not there.
Okay.
So, but I'm still looking. I got more stuff to look through there. I'll see if I can.
That's
There is
great.
some information in there. The STC was in there. The instructions for installing it on the airplane were in there, but I haven't found the flight manual supplement or the 337 yet.
Okay.
Hopefully it's there somewhere. Rose and sun visors are in the airplane. There's a STC in the records, but no 337 that I saw
Okay.
for that. Our landing gear, on our right landing gear, we need to do a little bit of rigging. Our down tension, well, there's an issue with the inboard gear door rigging. If you reach up and you pull the inboard gear door, it shouldn't affect the landing gear in any way. But if we pull down on that, it's actually unlocking the right gear.
Really?
So there was a service. That was a service instruction.
Okay.
Way back in the early 2000s on that. So, but that's just, we need to adjust some rod ends to
Okay.
make that not do that. Then on the inboard gear door on the right side, there's the arm that actuates the gear door attaches to a round tube that the gear door is riveted to.
Okay.
All the rivets that hold the gear door to the tube are loose.
Oh, wow.
We need to replace those.
Okay.
That's really all we've got so far.
That's great. And
So we'll go ahead and pull the lifters out of one side,
that'd be great.
and then we'll
Okay.
evaluate that and see where we are.
That's perfect. And as far as like control to rod tension, you know, for the ailerons, elevators, all that, anything seem out of spec?
No, you guys,
No,
everything was good. Yep.
Okay. That's great. Thank you so much.
You got a little bit of play developing in your rod ends, but that's normal for
That's normal.
these, yeah. And they're not the kind you can unscrew and replace. So
That's
Yeah,
understood.
you let them get good and worn out before you.
The injectors on these, you know, originally I was going to do the gammies, but you said wait and see what
Right.
what was your protocol on that as far as
So on GAMI's website, they
Yeah.
have what they call a lean fine test.
lean fine test? Okay.
It's actually a spreadsheet
Okay.
that you can download.
Okay.
And actually, you've got, well, easiest thing to do is to download that spreadsheet, and then the two of you go fly.
Okay.
And they have you lean in half-gallon increments.
Okay.
And just record all the EGTs and the CHTs.
Okay.
And then you can email that form to them,
Okay.
and they'll evaluate it and
That's
see.
perfect.
You can see what they want. What they want to happen is all of the cylinders peaking within a half a gallon of each other.
Half a gallon. Okay.
So it's not. They're not going to be peaking at the same temperature,
Yeah.
but it's getting each cylinder to peak within that half gallon range.
Okay.
Because the whole idea behind the gammy thing was to run lean of peak.
Mm-hmm.
But to run lean of peak, you needed all of them lean of peak. So if your spread's too big, you can't get
The actual.
lean of peak enough to get out of that danger zone.
That makes sense. Okay. And this variant of the 550 you said might have the updated Continental injectors versus.
Yeah, I don't think this has. I haven't looked to see these. They recommend these be cleaned every 300 hours, and I haven't seen where that's been done.
Okay.
Yep. So this has the Continental tuned injectors in it.
It does.
Yep.
Okay. So that's a good thing, I guess.
So yep. The main thing on this is just to, if you ever have them out, to make sure they go back in the right spots.
Right spots.
'Cause each one of them have a number on them to match the cylinder.
Okay. And would you advise getting those cleaned?
I haven't looked at that yet.
Okay.
If they haven't been done in the
Yeah.
last 300 hours, I would say
Okay.
it should be
That's good to know.
done.
And then my very last question, I want to bombard you. Baffling, does everything, we had Maxwell do some baffling, but
Yeah, it actually looks pretty good. There's this here we need to probably do something with,
okay.
because what's going to happen when the cowling goes over this, we're going to end up with a pooch and an air leak.
Okay.
But all in all,
Usually they don't tie these together so that the wind can push it up against it. He put these screws in
yeah,
there.
I think all in all, that part looks pretty good.
Okay.
And I think it looks like it's sealed up pretty well.
Okay. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. I